Hey, I'm Jay from the Kubz. Welcome back to another episode of reacting to these scary story animations. I got 3 good ones that we're gonna check out on this episode. If you guys cool with that, you down with that? Everybody get ready and buckle up, cause here we go! First video of today's episode is an OnlyFans horror story. It comes from my guy Mort. So let's just get in the movie.
For context, I'm a 20-year-old man. My name is Jack.
I'm not subscribing to some guy named Jack's OnlyFans. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
But this horror story I'm gonna tell you didn't happen to me. It happened to a close friend of mine. Her name's Cecilia.
Oh, okay.
We met on the integration meeting after our first day of college. I was pretty new to the area. I just moved from another city and I was excited to attend my dream college, get the best education I can and a good degree in my field. I had just moved here and all of my friends were in my hometown. I decided to make a new friend with this beautiful woman with a friendly face and say hi. Cecilia was gorgeous and probably one of the sweetest people I've ever met.
Gorgeous? I mean, I don't do yoga, but I know a stretch when I see one.
She had big, beautiful blue eyes and glamorous skin.
Okay.
She really stood out from the crowd and, to me, glowed like an angel.
All right.
I knew that she was someone special. I mean, hell, that's why she stuck out so much and I approached her. Something about her when I first met her indicated to me that we would share a lot of amazing moments in life. I knew that she was someone special just initially meeting her.
All right.
So when I approached her and greeted her, it was a real pleasure.
Bro looking like he works at the only Blockbuster left in the world.
It turns out that she was new and rather lonely here as well.
Oh.
She was from a different state and was actually looking for a new friend herself. Figuring we had the same intentions, I invited her out for coffee that day. After that, I decided to go and talk with the rest of the freshmen from the meeting. I met a lot of my future friends that day, people who I still keep in contact with today.
Bro, what kind of school do these kids go to? Serial Killer University? My guy's wearing a green trench coat and a doo-doo green tie?
From that day forward, Cecilia and my relationship skyrocketed.
Weird. Is
We
that just
sat
college?
together during lectures,
Is that college
had
in a
lunch
nutshell?
together. We FaceTimed each other almost every other day and gossiped.
What the? Bro got the toes up with the selfie? Yo, you're gonna blow a kiss to the camera, my guy?
Harmlessly about our classmates. We truly were best friends.
Bro kicking his feet up like he's at a slumber
things started
party.
going downhill after that. I myself was fortunate to have parents who financially supported me every step of the way.
Who sits like that on the bed? Come on, name one person in the world that sits like that on the bed. I'm telling you, Serial Killer University.
I could rent an apartment and buy everything I needed for a student's life with ease.
I'm super serial.
But Cecilia had no financial support. She had to help herself. She worked a not-so-fun job at McDonald's, and the hours were grueling and long.
Hey, McDonald's can be fun, you know? Steal a couple chicken nuggets here, throw a couple french fries down your throat there.
This was starting to interfere with her education, and she had trouble studying.
Like, I'll find ways to have fun.
Working out for her, so she started looking for smaller sort of side hustles online. She asked me for some advice or tips, but I didn't know what to tell her.
That's the biggest iPhone in the world, my G.
Hell, I hadn't worked a day in my life.
That's not even an iPhone. That's an iPad 9000.
What was I gonna tell her? One day, Cecilia came across a website called OnlyFans.
Acting like she just stumbled on OnlyFans. You know what OnlyFans is. Don't play dumb
It was a
with
pretty
me.
new and highly trending website. I didn't
Like, these people are gonna play dumb with me when they go to Serial Killer University?
know much about the website, aside from the fact that it was known for adult content and pretty much every other Twitch streamer or Instagram girl had one in their bio. One day, she explained to me the nature of the website over FaceTime. She explained to me that she could make hundreds or even thousands of dollars just posing half-naked online. Men were thirsty enough to just drop money on this stuff. She said she could finally be financially independent without even having to do any work.
Hey, I mean, she woke up and chose facts. She woke up that day and chose facts.
She didn't even have to show more intimate parts of her body and could make hundreds of fetishists who just want to see her hands or feet.
Let me see a little nipple here.
She was blown away by the easy money and was eager to start an OnlyFans account. From that day, I warned her that it was a bad idea. It sounded like a dream side job at first and sounded like really good, easy money, but something was too good to be.
This dude is drunk and high at the same time. Like, I would not be taking legal advice from my mans right here. What is that? Like, if I walked into an office and he was the guy talking to me and trying to give me advice, bro, I don't even know what I'd do. I wouldn't know up from down from this guy.
I told her that the whole idea of showing her face and body to a bunch of weirdos and creeps online could only be dangerous. You never know what their real intentions are behind a screen.
Shit, I think my guy gotta start an OnlyFans and buy himself a bigger bed, cause goddamn, bro don't even go long enough to his knees. Gotta make L's with his freaking legs just to lay on his bed, bro.
You never know what their real intentions are behind a screen. She didn't seem to pay any mind to my concerns. She thought it was her easy way out of this problem.
Go fund him a bed,
bro. She truly didn't mind
bro.
showing her body online if there was a monetary reward. I couldn't believe it. She really was this desperate. We got into a small argument, but I backed out. I realized I couldn't change her mind and let it be.
Hey, everybody that's over 18 watching this, I want to know your opinion right now, so get ready to leave a comment. And why is she already shirtless? Bro, did she make an account already? What the hell? Anyway, what if your friend, remember, only answer this if you're 18 and above. What if your friend said that they, who also should be 18 and above, okay? Because you have to have a friend that's also 18 and above, was asking if they should make an OnlyFans account. Would you be supportive? Would you be like, yeah, go ahead, you know, whatever you want to do. You want to show some titties? You want to be fully clothed? Whatever. I support you with your OnlyFans journey. Or would you be like, nah, you know, putting yourself out there, exposing yourself that much, that's not a good idea. Like, what would you personally do? If my friends asked me if, you know, they should make an OnlyFans account, I'd be like, hell no! Ain't nobody want to see that shit!
She signed up for an account
yeah, let me know what
and
you
started
think.
posting photos
What would you
shortly
do?
after that.
18 and above
After
only.
a while, she
Okay.
told me that it was the best decision in her life.
Right.
She told me she made triple the amount she made at McDonald's and barely had to put in any effort.
I would hope
She
so.
could actually focus on school and had spare time now. After she told me that a few men paid her thousands of dollars for some fully naked photos,
That's crazy. Why the hell does my guy look like that? What the hell did they put in my dude's miso soup?
was very uncomfortable. I explained to her once again that this whole thing will backfire when some psychopath meets her, but she ignored my advice as usual. It bothered me. I personally felt that your body should be reserved for the one you love, the one who cares about you,
My
the
guy's
one who's
mad.
there for you.
Bro,
But
who
in the
hurt
end of the
you?
day, it was her body and her life. None of my business. For the next few weeks, everything seemed to be going back to normal. But one day, something horrible happened. Normally, we would meet each other in the morning before classes, but
Please
she
don't
didn't
tell
show
me.
up.
She got,
That's weird.
you know?
I checked my phone and she didn't let me know.
Bro, what's up with these big ass phones? Freaking yabba dabba do Flintstone shits.
This was even
Why are
weirder.
they so big?
Normally, she'd text me. I was surprised, but didn't think much of it.
Looking like
I
my
decided
PC
to go on
monitor,
with the
bro.
rest of my day. The day went by and I still didn't see her. She didn't join me at lunch or sit next to me during class. When
That's
I checked my
sus.
phone that night, I noticed that she hadn't
That's
even been
real
online
sus.
since yesterday. 2 days went by and I started to get phone calls from her family and close friends. They wanted to know where she could possibly be. She literally disappeared from the face of the earth. Her mom eventually called the police and reported her as a missing person, and the search begun. For a few days, the police asked everyone around her, including me, about where they saw her the last time. But after a few more days of searching and still no trace of her, the police asked for volunteers to help them.
He looks like a
Me
fake
and
cop.
several of her other friends decided to join in on the search.
That's the most uninvested cop that I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Armed with flashlights, we all checked through the local forest.
He's like, yeah, she's not here behind this tree. Let me see, turn that leaf over. Yeah, she's not there either. All right, let's keep going,
It
man.
was exhausting. We searched up and down and still didn't find a single trace of her or her body. At this point, her parents were devastated. They were already crying. They knew that after this much time of someone being missing, the chances of survival were really, really
Yeah.
low.
I mean, where's the
police
dad
finally
at?
got a warrant to search through
Still
her
going to get the milk?
apartment. But when they looked through there, they saw no traces of any violence or that anything could have happened.
What website does she have
Nothing was
open?
touched. They expected a fight
that
scene
OnlyFans?
or some broken plates or a messed up bed, but this didn't add up. If she was
like
abducted,
Facebook.
there would be some traces or some sign. But no, the detectives found the apartment clean. The only lead they could find was an open OnlyFans page with her photos on it. They assumed that this was the doing of one of her followers, maybe. The police looked through her laptop thoroughly, but they still found nothing. Her messages and her subscribers revealed no information. Even their best investigator had no clue where she was. There was no trace of her or whether she was even alive. There were no suspects and no witnesses. The police and
Interesting.
the volunteers searched for her for about another month. They did everything they could. They hung flyers, posted her on social media. Still, she wasn't found. The
Okay.
police eventually closed the case. Her family and friends were devastated. I considered myself
the f-
lucky and let out a sigh of relief.
What the hell?
Plan succeeded, and I was happy about that. It was a great idea. I left her body in the basement of an abandoned farmhouse about
What?
100 miles from the city.
Wait,
Nobody
what?
even suspected me because I was playing along as a victim, a good friend who only wanted the best for her. I told her not to use OnlyFans, but she wouldn't listen to me. I couldn't let anyone aside from me watch her body.
Wait!
I hated the idea of these creepy old men seeing her.
I was gonna go back,
hated
but-
seeing those photos online. She could only be mine, and mine alone. Maybe if she weren't so stubborn and listened to my advice, she would have lived. We were meant for each other. We would look perfect together. But she just treated me like a friend. I'm perfectly fine with what I did. I don't regret it.
What the fuck? Yo! My guy thought he was gonna get in the end zone, but he was still stuck in the friend zone, so he did what he had to do when she made an OnlyFans? And then he pretended that he was doing like all this searching and pretending that she wasn't coming to lunch with him or study groups or class? That is a perfect example of it really be your own. I mean, we gotta say it. We all know what's coming. Are we gonna say it on 3? 1, 2. Do you know what we're gonna say? Let me know right now. We're gonna say it? Because what just happened, I think we have to say it. 1, 2, 3. What a twist! You know what? We're gonna check out one more OnlyFans horror story. Still comes from the same person, Mort, and we're gonna check it right now.
It was the summer of last year, and I was a broke
the first one we
college
saw had a
student.
twist.
My parents were happy to help
had
with
a
paying for the
twist.
education,
It
but
made
my
my nipples
university
want
was
to
in an urban
twist.
and rather upscale area.
Let me shut up.
So despite the fact that most of my tuition was covered, I was still struggling to get by living costs. Food, clothes, and utilities were all very expensive. I worked long and hard hours at a local coffee shop as a barista, but this was starting to interfere with my education. I majored in biotechnology, which was a very difficult and competitive field of study at my school.
I bet.
The classes I had to take were extremely difficult and time-consuming. Sometimes I would stay up for several days together in order to balance out studying, attending lectures, and going to work.
I mean, how can you focus on anything in that class with this hotness staring at you in the face?
But hey,
Come on, dog.
someone had to pay for bus passes, and someone had to pay
Bro.
for my groceries.
Belly button looking like a third
I
eye.
didn't want to have to sacrifice my grades and future career opportunities solely due to the fact that I needed money right now. The worst part of all this was that I barely had a life of my own, with midterms coming up and finals a few weeks after that. Hanging out with friends or just having fun in general really wasn't an option. I needed to make a lot of money fast and quick, something I could preferably do in the comfort of my own dorm.
I never got to experience that, by the way. Just being in like a large like movie theater type classroom like that with just rows and rows of seats like that. I've always wondered how that would be. Just like listening to a professor, just teaching you whatever he specializes in. I never got to experience that in my life. I never went to
My
like
mind
a big
immediately went to
university or
online
anything.
jobs, but none
Or
of them
even
seemed
college
legitimate.
really in general.
Most of them required little time, but they obviously paid a little money. I asked an upperclassman friend of mine, and she suggested a couple things. At first, we were thinking of getting a sugar daddy, but that requires sometimes meeting those creepy old men in person, which I wasn't a huge fan of. But then my friend suggested
Hey, I want a
selling a
sugar
bit
daddy.
more revealing photos of
I want some
myself
daddy with some
online.
sugar.
She claimed that she and many other people she knew had done it loads of times, and you don't even need to show your face or that much of your body. People just pay ridiculous amounts of money even for slightly lewd photos. And considering that my roommate had just moved out with her boyfriend, I figured that this might be my best option. I had this room all to myself, and there
Already?
was really no harm in doing this at this point.
Bro,
I
already
immediately
with the
signed up as an
shits?
OnlyFans creator.
What's up with everybody not having a big enough bed to just fully extend your legs on?
OnlyFans seemed to be the most credible and popular of these types of websites.
I'm about to start getting an OnlyFans account, and I'm just gonna start donating beds to people.
They also seem to be the
If this is what
safest
we're
and are
working
very liberal with how much profit the creators get to keep. Pretty much every other girl on my campus has one in their Instagram bio anyway, so I figured there's really no harm in trying, and have too many other options anyways. It was a lot easier than I thought getting started. Rather young woman, and I considered myself to have a decent body. I saved up for a cheap but effective ring light off Amazon, and my smartphone had a good enough camera anyways.
Okay.
I started out
What
by
the-
taking a profile
Hey.
picture. Nothing above
on,
my
put that
chin
tongue
was
back.
shown. It was
Put
me
that tongue back
posing
in
all
your
cute
mouth.
with only my underwear on. I bought a promotion from a rather large Twitter page for my OnlyFans, and it seemed to be working. I had already gotten a few subscribers and fans. I wasn't in the top 1% or anything, but my initial investments in the light and promotion were all paid off within a few days. I even took the
Nice.
following week off of work. I eventually went ahead and took the next few
Thought I
weeks
said
of work
$13 a
off.
month.
I wanted
Now
to
it's
study for
$5?
my midterms, and at this point
Make
OnlyFans
up
seemed
your
to be
mind.
paying the bills pretty well. My audience seemed to be a mixture of mostly men, both old and young. But one day, as I was messaging a few fans, I noticed a DM request with an unusually high payment amount. Sure, a lot of these guys had their own weird kinks and would pay a surprising amount of money just to see my feet sometimes, but this was even stranger. I got a direct message from someone with the username John_Doe. and he was willing to pay $100 just for a photo of me smiling.
Wow.
I initially thought he had added an extra zero by accident, so I messaged him back just to make sure that he resends the request with the right amount. But the man was serious. He wanted to see a photo of me smiling for $100. I took a selfie immediately and sent it to him. He paid the amount in full. We kept messaging back and forth. He wanted to see a video of my full body from the neck down. I did, and he paid about $50. He wanted to see a photo of my hands, and I sent those to him as well. After paying unusually high amounts for rather weird photos, he proceeded to ask rather deep and odd questions. Started with things like, how old are you and are you single? And transitioned to much creepier things like, how many partners have you had in the past? Are you living with family? Do you live alone? Are you sexually active as of now?
What's this
I
questionnaire
got extremely
shit?
weirded out by this, but I didn't want to be rude to the man. After all, he is a really big tipper. But eventually, the man started asking questions like, what STDs do I have? And at this point, I just quit the chat. I continued with my night and went to sleep not thinking much of it. There are plenty of weirdos online, and this man could have just been another one of them.
Hey, I don't care how much money you have. You can't make somebody, make you tell things that you're not comfortable talking about. I don't care how much somebody's paying you. The moment somebody starts getting weird, asking you super personal questions, just do a 180, get out of there. Money isn't everything.
That next day, I had just gotten home from class. The bus was a bit late, and so was I. I opened up my laptop in order to start my night job, if you will, and noticed my OnlyFans had a series of unread messages from John_Doe, the same weirdo from last night. I was hesitant to open them at first, but I did. It was a series of manic, crazy messages. It started off with him offering large sums of money just to talk to me, and then it transitioned to him getting very aggressive and making threats to track me down and attack me just because I ignored him. I had finally had enough. I reported the man to OnlyFans and blocked him. No amount of money was worth his attention, and I eventually just called it a night. I never heard back from John_Doe those next few days. Things went on considerably normal until one afternoon.
Did y'all read those messages?
It was around 4 p.m. and I was in my apartment. I was in the kitchen and I needed some fresh air, so I went outside my balcony to take a few deep breaths. But as I surveyed around the view, I noticed one of my neighbors on their balcony. This obviously wasn't particularly weird, but I noticed he was staring right at my building.
Oh, I was gonna say something about this old ass man, but my cough just told me to stop. My cough said, Jay, stop. You're gonna roast this man into oblivion. You know, you're gonna roast this man to kingdom come. Just let it go. So I'm gonna let it go, everybody. I'm gonna let Dollar Tree Albert Einstein live another day.
It was an old man, looking at me in a somewhat intense or anxious manner. I waved to him as a friendly gesture, but received no reply. That's weird, I thought, but then things got even weirder. The man pulled out a pair of binoculars and stared at me, and then proceeded to scan up and down my building with his binoculars.
Whoa,
I was extremely unsettled
time
by
out,
this.
red flag.
It was like he was looking for someone. Could it be me? Why would this man be spying on me? I went back inside and tried to shake it off, but then it hit me. John_Doe from the last night. Could this be the man leaving me those messages? Could that creepy OnlyFans man be living right across from me? I knew I didn't have any time to waste, and I immediately reported him to my building. My building security said that they talked to the man and couldn't find any significant enough evidence that the man was doing anything wrong. They even tried telling the...
Hey, if you unsubscribe from that cringe, I don't blame you. Like, I will log into your own account from my computer and unsubscribe from this channel for you.
Police as well, but
that's
they
how
dropped
cringy
the
it
case
was.
because, well, they had nothing to report on
that's how much I
either.
love you.
I was very irritated by this, but I never saw the man peeping at me anymore, so I figured he got the message. But one day, I was walking back from a grocery trip. I was only a couple blocks away from my apartment building, and it was mid-evening. It was getting a bit dark, but there were streetlights.
Looking like she's walking away from an explosion in those action movies.
Deep down, I knew this was a dumb decision to make because I was a young woman, but hell, I just wanted some food.
Yeah.
But as I was walking, I felt watched. Got this weird sense that there were a pair of eyes glued onto me as I was walking down the street. The stairs to my apartment building were only a few blocks away, but as I got more and more creeped out, the distance seemed to get longer and longer. Subtly surveyed my surroundings and noticed the old man across the street. Eyes locked onto me. I couldn't believe it.
Is this man really trying to hide behind a tree?
The man was back at it. I started trying to walk a little faster and heard footsteps behind me.
He tried to hide behind a tree.
The quicker my footsteps got, the quicker the old man's did as well. At this point, it was a speed
man, he definitely
walking
not
race with
Albert
the old
Einstein
man and
because this
I.
dude dumb as shit.
At that point, I started sprinting. I could hopefully outpace him. quickly darted around a corner and stood there and waited. I was behind a bus stop and essentially was hiding for my life at this point. I knew I had to try going directly to the police this time, but I needed to get to my apartment or to safety first. Who knew what this man would do to me, especially considering he was the one leaving those crazy messages on my OnlyFans. But to my surprise, a young man noticed me.
Guy
"You
just
okay,
pops
ma'am?"
out of nowhere in
The
a
man
dark
asked.
alley.
The man was
Okay.
around my age, only a tad bit older maybe.
Yeah, that makes
He was
sense.
casually dressed and quite good looking. "Yeah, it's just the man following you," he interrupted. I don't know what to do.
How the hell did that guy know that? He just popped up from the other side of the street. He knew somebody was following her.
"I'm scared he'll step out and find me," I said.
Hey, rubbing
"Hey,
the chin pubes,
don't
something
worry.
suspicious.
I can walk you to your apartment, if that makes you feel a bit better," the man said. I was a bit
Ooh,
sketched
my
out at
camera's a little
first,
tilted.
obviously, but
That's
I accepted the
suspicious.
offer.
Hey,
I was
hey,
afraid for my life at this point, and any help I could get was worth it. Man seemed like a gentleman, and he genuinely wanted to walk me to my apartment building.
Hey.
We chatted a bit
Albert
about our
Einstein.
lives as we were walking, and he
Looking
didn't
like I
really say
get
much
straight
about
A's.
his. The young man went by Jay, and he seemed to be a really nice guy.
Nah, hey. You gotta be a legend to have the name Jay. Not this freaking greaseball, fuck boy, unbuttoned ass shirt, too cool for school looking ass dude. You are not Jay. You are K or something. You're the letter
But as we were
G,
getting
bro.
to my
You are
apartment
not
building,
eligible
there was
for the
an
name
old van
Jay.
in the driveway
I'm
that
telling
was
you
never
that right
usually
now.
there. I had no idea what this random new vehicle was doing in our neighborhood at that time of day, but I just focused on getting to my door. But that's when I heard yelling behind me. "Wait! Wait!" It was the old man from before, and he was running after me, trying to get my attention. But before I could even react or comprehend what was going on, I felt Jay's hand latch onto my shoulders. He threw me into the oddly placed van. I didn't even have time to scream or react. He slammed the door shut and quickly started driving off.
That's why I just told you. He is not worthy of the name Jay. A Jay would never do that. Jays are gentlemen. He is a G. He is a G.
I tried my hardest to scream for help and get out of the van, but the back had no windows or access to the front seat.
And not a G as in like, yeah, I'm a G. That's what I do. I'm a G. No, he's a G as in like, he's so not a J that he's a previous letter. Just making that
It was
clear.
all padded down with wooden panels. I couldn't believe it.
Not a J.
Jay was John_Doe. Jay was the one following
He's an
me.
E or something.
But what did that mean for the old man? My thought was interrupted by the van coming to a sudden halt. Jay quickly yanked open the back door.
Stop calling
the
him
look
Jay.
in his eyes were completely different from
I
when
find
he
that
walked
offensive.
me home. He had this crazed look on his face, almost
I
like
would
he was
never
a
look at
different
anybody
person
crazed.
altogether. He yanked me out of the van after
I would
taping
never
my
yank.
mouth shut and blindfolding me.
Jays don't yank.
Jay was pretty tall, and I'm not exactly the strongest person in the world, so I couldn't even resist. He dragged me into a building. I had no idea where I was, and I was freaking out. As he left me in what seemed to be a basement, he started telling me all the awful things he'd do to me and how I shouldn't have ignored him on OnlyFans.
Why is that pipe so bloody already? Who the hell did he kill before her?
He walked away, and I sat there for what could have been only a few minutes.
Dude just out here killing people?
Felt like hours.
Why was that
I had
shit so
given up all
bloody?
hope. Was this really it? Was this how my life was gonna end?
I mean, hopefully
My
he just
entire
pulled
life
it out of his
flashing
own
back
ass.
before my eyes.
Like, why is that thing so bloody already?
Suddenly, I heard sirens outside. Could it really be the police? Was it just an ambulance or fire truck passing by? Soon, I heard a loud yelling and
That's the
pounding
same
on the front
cop
door,
from the other
followed by,
story.
"Police search warrant. Step out with your hands above your head." There was a long,
Ooh,
intense pause,
busted.
followed by more commotion. After several
Busted,
minutes of
Jay.
rustling and more yelling upstairs,
Gotcha,
a
bitch.
blindfold and tape were removed from my mouth. It was an officer. They took me to the police station
that was it?
and asked me some questions about Jay. I explained to them the entirety of the OnlyFans situation and
I'm
showed
starting to
them
get pissed
screenshots.
that that guy's name is
It
Jay.
turns out the man was mentally ill but was somehow released from the asylum. I asked the police how they found me and they explained everything. It turns out the old man I suspected from before was actually trying to help me.
Wait, he escaped from an asylum, but he was paying like 2 G's for some feet pics? What the hell is he getting that kind of money?
According to the police, Jay had somehow managed to track my IP address through OnlyFans and found out where I lived. He happened to live pretty close by to me, and CCTV footage showed Jay coming to my apartment and analyzing my path home
How
from
did
the
Jay
same
get all
van.
that bread?
The old man was looking through binoculars because he wanted to know why there was a random new vehicle in the neighborhood and what it was doing by my building.
Hey, I'm sorry, but if you look creepy and weird as shit like this man right here, he probably stinks too. Like, you gotta let people know, hey, I'm friendly. Like, I know I look creepy. I know I look like I would tie you up in the basement, but I'm friendly. You gotta warn people, okay? Because sometimes people do judge books by their covers, and the cover of your book is creepy as shit!
It turns out he was following me that day in order to make sure I went home safe. He was very, very suspicious of Jay in the van. He was suspecting that Jay would somehow do something to me, but by the time he actually found out, it was too late. The old man was the one who got the van's plate number on camera and reported it to the police immediately. The police used traffic cameras and records in order to find out where the van was going and where it could end up. As soon as I got home, I explained to my friends what happened, and I deleted my entire OnlyFans account right after that. I soon went back to work at my cafe and tried to resume my normal life. It's been about a year since that happened, and the old man moved out since. He's now at a senior care center nearby, and while we rarely are in contact, we never ever mention Jay or the incident.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a good story. And also, that makes me very scared for anybody watching this that has an OnlyFans account. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure you don't reveal any personal information. Just take pics, do videos, stack your money high, and just be done with it. Don't get too involved with any weirdos out there because you never know what their intentions are. Next story of today's episode is a McDonald's horror story. This comes from Mort Animations. Check them out in the description box below.
This happened during summer when I was 7. I'm an 18-year-old female now. My mother was always working, so I was often left with my grandmother.
This guy's voice is so soothing and calming.
After, if I was good, she would take me to the park. I usually got to pick where we ate, so I chose McDonald's. I was sitting down eating my Happy Meal, and
That's not a Happy Meal, bro. That looks like a part of somebody's brain. What is that, meatball in a Happy Meal?
My grandma got up to use the bathroom.
That's not a chicken nugget.
As soon as she left, a man in his late 20s or early 30s sat down next to me and asked me if I wanted to come play a game. I, being the 7-year-old I was, said yes. He said it was a special game. At this point, my grandma was returning from the bathroom and started yelling at the man to get the hell away from me.
Please?
He ran out the door, and I got in trouble for talking to strangers. We still ended up going to the park where I saw the man again. I was on the monkey bars, and he asked me if I still wanted to play. Now, I was starting to get a bit creeped out. I told him I wasn't supposed to talk to strangers and that my grandma was waiting for me. He said that if I won the game, I would get a present. I asked him where the present was, and he said it was in his car and that I should go with him to get it.
That's the oldest trick in the book. Like, you learn that shit in the womb. Nobody falls for that. Especially in 2021.
I started to run.
Yeah, there you go. See? She's 7 years old sprinting like
my grandma
Usain
heard
Bolt.
me and came running. She saw the man and got out her mace. He let me go, and my grandma sprayed him in the eyes until he was screaming.
That's what's up, Grandma.
She called the cops on him.
That's why I love grandmas.
He was arrested on the spot. We later found out he was a registered sex offender and a child molester.
Should have killed him. What? Shit, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Are you kidding me? What was that, a McDonald's commercial? You guys heard that? Dude got sprayed in the face, a child molester, and then ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Let me make sure I heard that right.
We later found out he was a registered sex offender and a child molester.
Wow. He was a child molester. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. 2-for-1 Big Macs now on sale. Come on, dude. I gotta see that one more time. That cannot be real. Hold on. He killed 8, and he's a child molester. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Hold on, I gotta see that one more time. We gotta see that one more time. It was like, he's a registered sex offender, a child molester. He set fire to a building with many families still living in there. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba! Yo, get me out of this story before I just keep going. Get me out of here. Ba-ba-da, Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. But anyway, that's gonna do it for this episode of Reacting to these scary animations. Hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure you give this video one big fat like. And tell a friend today that Jay from the Kubz Scouts is that dude!